Bleach anime used in New Zealand murder case defense. No, you did not have a stroke. No, you did not hear wrong. You don't need to get your hearing checked. This is a legitimate article title that came out late last night. And to give a little bit more context, when you click on the article and you go to the title, this is what it says. Bleach anime used in defense in New Zealand murder case. Defense. Schizophrenic suspect was acting out Bleach anime scene when he assaulted and murdered the victim. I want to point something out before I go any further with this. About a year ago, okay, there was a trial with Young Thug that literally was on like Law and Crime and all that. You know, it was literally a trial, and this is what I believe one of the lawyers had to say. Just listen to this real quick. This is a real court trial.
Where it's 16 seasons. Every episode is about 20 episodes. Every season is 18 to 20 episodes. And they have season 4 and 5. They have these bouts. They're the villains of the whole thing in season 4 and season 5. The main characters are trying to get them out of soul society. You go to season 6, you don't hear about the bouts. You go to season 7.
FYI, she's talking about the Bound arc, the filler arc of Bleach, the first big filler arc of Bleach. But where the correlation comes in is that it's very strange. In the last year or so, we have had not one but two cases that somehow have brought Bleach, a very famous series, into the courtroom, and I'm just like, why? Just why in general? But anyways, let's talk about this, okay? So, I did a little bit of research, and from everything I can gather from articles that came out and all that, there's not really any information on exactly what scene the actual criminal did. For instance, the person that was a schizophrenic. It's not confirmed exactly what episode, what fight scene, or whatever, but one thing I could dive into, and I dug into, is apparently this crime happened back in 2017. So this was before A Thousand Year Blood War, since it came out in 2017, like when, this all happened, and just now after many, many years later, apparently after, appeals and stuff, this is what was said in the defense of the schizophrenic criminal that murdered someone, saying that he was acting out a Bleach scene. Literally, this just reminds me of, Better Call Saul. It's like, Your Honor, my client was a schizo, and he had massive spiritual pressure, which he didn't mean to kill someone. And that's basically what this kind of seems like. It literally seems like out of something of Better Call Saul when I read this. But, getting back into the, context of this, basically, it's not confirmed exactly what fight scene or anything that, this criminal was inspired by, but it's very clear by what the prosecution and all that brought up, especially with diving into this article, is that there is definitely some similarities to a scene. Once again, we're not given any info on what scene it was, but there is a character that comes to mind when you look into what this individual did to someone. He punched and kicked and stomped them, and there's one character in particular, and you have it on screen, that pretty much uses a lot of punches and kicking and stuff, and definitely would be, a big iconic moment for the story prior to A Thousand Year Blood War, because Bleach is a series that is with the swords and stuff and certain abilities, so a character punching and kicking is definitely significant. You could definitely narrow it down considerably when you consider all the fights, especially pre-Thousand Year Blood War anime. So, factoring all that in, I'm led to believe it might be Grimjaw that he was inspired by. Now, regardless of the situation, it is a very horrific crime that this individual committed, and obviously seeing Bleach brought into this entire situation is wild in of itself. But one thing that this trial is trying to do, and kind of get into the main context of why it was brought up, is that the schizophrenic individual that has been trying to appeal the court case to plead insanity, basically his new plea is that, he was enacting a scene from Bleach. And so he basically believed he was the character so deeply that that is why he did what he did. So he was so crazy he thought he was the character, which does fit schizophrenic tendencies and stuff. So basically, the main objective here is for the criminal not to be basically in jail or prison, but to be put to some form of, like, maybe mental institution or asylum or something, which, you know, anyone that watches, like, crime videos and Law and Order videos and stuff like that knows going into an asylum or, you know, like an institution is much worse than maybe even just a prison, because there is no way out and you're permanently locked there, and it's just very dark and decrepit places, basically. So, I don't know exactly the in-game goal here, but regardless of the situation, it's crazy to see Bleach brought up into this subject, with just such a horrific case of a man just straight up murdering someone for basically no reason. It's just like, dude, what the hell? Like, I don't know, man. This was not something I expected to wake up to this morning and see this type of information, especially something like this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first read these titles, I thought I was having a stroke. I was like, there's no way I read this right. There's no way that Bleach is being used as evidence to defend someone. I'm just like, excuse me? Like, it's so weird that something like this has kind of happened now twice. Weird, man. It's really, 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 really weird. But, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. This was something that graced my feed, and I just wanted to bring it to all your guys' attention. What do you think? How do you feel about this? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Regardless if this defense goes through or not, I'm just going to keep it real. The criminal in question that murdered the poor man should never ever see outside of a jail cell or an asylum. I'm just going to be honest. They are a danger, not just to everyone around them, but to themselves as well, clearly, because, like, if, for instance, this is legit, and, like, you know, they truly believe they were, like, Grimjaw or someone, they should not be free. I want to keep it real. There is no rectifying and trying to better that person. It's just throw away the keys at that point. So, yeah, that's my personal opinion on the matter. Horrific stuff, but, yeah. Anyways, love you guys. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.